right, so UFC Orlando just happened this weekend, or UFC Holland versus Thompson. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that we went to it live in person, the Geeks. Crazy event. If you have never been to a UFC event, totally recommend going. Totally different experience. But I just wanted to break these fights down because I was sitting there with these fights literally right in front of me, and I just want to give it a shot. Kind of just to tell you what I told, because sometimes you see it a little bit differently than on TV. So going from the bottom to the top, first fight of the night, Jauregui versus Stella Nunes. We picked we picked Jazmin actually. And it was going well for Stella early on. I believe she knocked down Jazmin the first round, got the crowd going, but then Jazmin started putting it on her second round and ultimately finished her in the second round, round two late TKO. Way outstruck. I'm looking at the strikes right now. 103 to 39 strikes and 67 to 36 significant strikes. So, maybe Jazmin got touched up early on, but she ultimately ended up putting Estela Nunes away, looking real good. And I think we got a real prospect in the women's strawweight. Next up, Francis Marshall, one of the Geeks' own. We like Francis Marshall a lot, going up against Marcelo Rojo. We didn't know how he'd fare just because Marcelo Rojo is a vet of the game, vet of the UFC. And Francis Marshall handled it well. He did real good, looked real good as a prospect, had a great debut. I believe he knocked him down in the first round, middle of the first round, putting a lot of pressure on him. He did get outstruck, though. This was the fight where Marcelo Rojo had the broken foot, if you remember. Sorry, just fixing something. Had the broken foot. Ref stopped it. Doctor came in, asked him, you good? And of course, Marcelo Rojo, being the dog he is, said, yes, I'm good. Probably should have stopped it there because he got knocked out cold by Francis Marshall. Good fight. Francis Marshall is going to be a problem. Featherweights. See if he can keep it up. Then we got Natan Levy versus Genaro Valdez, and this was a tough fight because total strikes, I'm looking at it, we got 69 for Levy and 62 for Valdez. This was a dog fight, although Levy had 6 takedowns, so I think that was the big part of it. And just being there in person, I guess you could say, I just saw more of Levy. Of course, you can see this on TV, but I just noticed him walking down Valdez a lot, and that takedown numbers show. So good fight by Levy. Decision. If you had Levy by decision, hey, good job. But yeah, he did all right. Who we got next? JSP versus Darren Elkins. Just absolutely destroyed Darren Elkins. I said this in the video that this is 100% JSP's fight. I thought it was going to be inside the distance, and it probably should have been. They did stop the fight at one point because of a lot of blood on Darren Elkins, got cut real bad. But Darren Elkins, he lives up to his name, man. The damage, he took a lot of damage in that fight, wore through it, got the decision got the decision L. Could have saved himself a good bit of damage because the striking differential is 154 for Jonathan Pierce versus 67 to Darren Elkins. So, I mean, and it was 30-27, 30-27, 30-26. Darren Elkins did not deserve to. Of course, he deserves to be in there, but he was nowhere near winning that fight. I mean, that was all Jonathan Pierce. So, good Jonathan Pierce. Get him a good matchup. Next one up. We'll see how he does. But shout out legend Darren Elkins. Just, time passes everybody. That's all I can say about that one. But time doesn't pass. Who time doesn't pass? It's Michael Johnson. He looked real good. I actually thought my bladder was going to bust in this fight, so I ran at the start of the first, and I got back in round 3. But I did watch it back. Diakese just couldn't get anything going. right? This is just the vet and savviness of Michael Johnson. Didn't get any takedowns. Marc Diakese's 0 for 6 on takedowns, I'm noticing. Michael Johnson just batters him up on the feet. I mean, all of Michael Johnson's, I don't know how accurate this is. All of Michael Johnson's total strikes, he's 83 total strikes, 83 significant strikes. So he stuffs these takedowns. He's moving forward most of the time. He's got clean boxing. He did say in the post fight that he thinks he has the best overall boxing in the UFC. So I don't know about that one. But yeah, good fight by Michael Johnson. Just a vet fight from him. Very good. And another just vet fight. Two more actually. But another just vet fight who he was just a better man. Clay Guida beaten Scott Holtzman. They did these guys dirty. And this was something that I watched live that you guys didn't see on TV because they would cut away. They cut Clay Guida out from talking. They didn't let Clay Guida talk after a win. Scott Holtzman retired. Didn't talk to him. He laid the octagons down in the darkness. He laid the octagons down. He laid the gloves down in the darkness of the octagon. Man, felt bad. They were just rushing fights out. Just bing, 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 rushing fights out. But Clay Guida, I mean, he was just better than him everywhere. More active. More not, I mean, this really doesn't matter what punches thrown. He threw more, landed more. 4 for 5 takedowns. I mean, yeah, he stuffed some, but he did get 4 takedowns. There were sometimes on top for the man Clay Guida, and just, hey, I called it Guida decision. Knew these guys weren't going to get a finish, so that was an easy one. Going on up to Angela Hill, decision dub. Called that one again. In the video, I had Angela Hill by decision. I believe some of the other geeks did too. This is what she does, man. 15-12. She wins decisions. She loses decisions. I'm looking at her record. Yep. Decision. Yeah. Decision. God, decision. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I mean, her last non-decision win or fight in general, it was a win, was against Ariane Carnelossi, and there's a round 3 TKO back in 2019. I don't know if I said that. But good for her. I mean, she literally just picked and popped. This whole fight was 190 to 76 of the total strikes. A lot better on feet than Ducote, and Ducote could not take her down. So pretty easy decision for the judges. All right, let's go to the main card. Main card. They bumped up the main card, man. They had a lot of fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7-fight main card, and it for sure felt like that. We walked out of that damn arena at like 1:30, 1:45 at night, in the morning. Brutal. Niko Price versus Phil Rowe. Man, I'm looking at these stats, and this is not what I thought I would see. Niko way outstruck him, 150 to 64. But the thing with Niko Price, man, he couldn't really string his shots together. He'd throw combos and whatnot, and at the end of his combos, he would really tire out and really show, because those strikes would really get sloppy, right? We would go from straight shot, hook, swinging to like just boom. Not good. Slow motion, long, extended. Yeah, I think that's really the story of that fight, was just Niko Price gassing out. He gassed out against Phil Rowe. But good job by Phil Rowe. Maybe the less strikes just show that they did more damage. Niko wasn't too beat up. I really think it was just he gassed. And if you're gassed, nothing you can do. You gone. Next fight, Up the card, Eryk Anders versus Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus, man. I wish you guys could look at his face right now. Kyle Daukaus did not impress me at all. Eryk Anders had a good night, man. I'm happy for Eryk Anders. He never won as a dog. I picked him as a dog inside the distance. He won round 2 knockout. TKO, I guess you could say. But Daukaus, man, he just didn't look good. Didn't look good. Over 8 on takedowns. Got way outstruck, pretty much 3-1. Good job, Eryk Anders. Daukaus, I'm probably never gonna pick you again. That's what I learned from that fight. Next fight up the card, Hermansson versus Dolidze. This was a fun fight because Hermansson had him on the feet, man. He messed up. He went to the ground with Dolidze, the world champion BJJ guy. Jack. I always love seeing the vets win. Man, yeah, man, he had him beaten on the round. First round, he had him beat on the feet. Dolidze had nothing for him. Second round, Jack comes up trying to switch things up. I guess, shit, I don't know, but maybe just trying to keep him guessing, whatnot. Dolidze catches him in that calf slicer, rolls him over, and just pounds him out. TKO. Jack looked real upset. I saw him. What was cool is we were on the side of the octagon where the fighters were walking out, so we could see everyone just pissed walking out of the octagon. It's tough stuff. Speaking about piss walking out of the octagon, Tuivasa versus Sergei Pavlovich. Place was going nuts, dude. Ty had a good walkout song. People were booing. Everyone was booing Sergei, man. Everyone was booing Sergei. And he just came out and just beat the shit out of Tai Tuivasa. Like, look at these numbers. 23 strikes, Sergei, to 2 of Tai. And I remember seeing a lot of blood on Sergei, and it was all Tai's blood. Oh, man. That's a sad fight. That's a sad fight. Thing with Tai, man, I was telling the geeks this at our place after the fight. Tai Tuivasa, he's kind of gotten one-dimensional now, to where, like, if you beat him on the feet, you're gonna beat him, because he was hurt multiple times in that there's a couple of exchanges with Pavlovich, and he would get hurt and swing back, hurt and swing back. Like, there's no level change. There's no, in the moment. I mean, that's dumb. You can't really throw leg kicks like when you're in exchanges, but I mean, dude, he just fires back right hands, and like he fired back a right hand so hard that he fell over. Sure, he was wobbled, and I'm sure his head was spinning, but he takes himself out of these fights when he does stuff like that, because he went right from there, fell over, and Sergei just dogged him, threw that uppercut, and the boy was out. Tough night to be a Thai fan. Everyone in that arena was a Thai fan, pretty much. No one wanted Sergei. So, hats off to Sergei. Next up, the card, Matheus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell. Good fight, man. People were booing it, but good fight. Matheus Nicolau looked real good. We got 2 knockdowns, I believe 1 in each round. He ended up getting a round 2 knockout. Again, don't know if I said that. Matheus Nicolau also had a takedown. Matheus Nicolau, you could say he was boring. And what was funny was Matt Schnell in his corner. I remember hearing that they were saying, "Don't listen to the fans. Don't listen to the fans," because we were booing the hell out of him. And by we, of course, not me. I was not booing. But the arena was just booing the hell out of these guys. And Nicolau knew. I saw Nicolau. I don't know what you guys saw on TV, but I saw Nicolau calming the fans down. He knew what was coming. He was technical, man. He looked real good. He was 40 for 50 total strikes I'm seeing right now, and it definitely looked like that. He was accurate, and when those shots landed, they did something to him. Nicolau's a problem in this flyweight division. I hope the UFC re-signs him. He talked about that in his post-fight, that his contract's up and whatnot. So I hope they re-sign him. He was a good cat, good fighter in the octagon, and I guess not to everyone, but to me, he was fun to watch. Co-main event, Bryan Barberena got smacked around by Rafael dos Anjos. And again, looking at these stats, not what I thought I'd see. Bryan Barberena 61 strikes to dos Anjos 36 strikes, but we do have 4 takedowns from dos Anjos, so he did exactly what I thought he would do and what I hoped he'd do. He mixed it up. He kept Barberena guessing. He was getting Barberena was battering him a little bit on the feet now that I'm thinking about it and looking back on the fight, but dos Anjos just said, all right, this ain't working, takedown. Steal some time, get up, take down, steal some time, get up, and then ultimately threw in a choke, got the leg over. GG's in the chat for RDA called out McGregor. I doubt he'll get that, but worth a shot. The old legend. I think he passed the most ring time in the UFC. It was pretty cool. Excuse me. Good fight. That was a good fight. And then next up, Wonder Boy versus Kevin Holland. I had Kevin Holland in this one. I thought the range and the effective striking would be enough. And in the first round, it looked like it was totally enough. He was rocking Wonder Boy. I even believe he had him wobbled very badly. Well, Wonder Boy falls against the fence, but dude, Wonder Boy is so fast, so nimble, as they say. Kind of just floats around the octagon. Holland just couldn't keep up with him. That was his only option. And I know he broke his hand, right? We found out now, a couple days after that he broke his hand. That had to be it, because he was better than Wonder Boy. He had his number. But then I don't know why you don't wrestle, man. And I have 2 arguments to this. Holland, if you want to win, man, why don't you wrestle? But, and maybe you guys didn't get this on TV, and I'm glad I was there in person to understand this, was when they went to the ground, especially in that first round, Holland got right back up. Those fans went wild. He waved Wonder Boy up. Those fans went wild. And he was talking about it all week. Oh, I'm not going to wrestle Wonder Boy. And, shout out to these guys for having a super stand-up-ish fight. I definitely could have went to the ground in more than one opportunity. Probably should have went to the ground. But, dude, yeah, should have went to the ground. Kevin Holland, I don't know what you're doing, man. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you want to win fights, but this is what happens when you kind of play with your food, I guess you could say. Wonder Boy just knocks you the hell out. Wonder Boy looks real good, man. And when you don't take him down, when you stand in front of him they got 4 complete rounds in. I know that weird stoppage at the end when Mergliata waved it off, idiot. Waved off the nut shot. Some Holland was whack. But they did get 4 full rounds in, and Wonder Boy, man, from rounds mid 2 to the end, just waxing them like pure Wonder Boy. It was fun to watch. It was very cool to watch. So shout out to Wonder Boy Holland. He did get paid with the fight of the night, so that's nice. But I'm interested to see who these guys get next. It was very fun watching the fights. It was very fun doing this video, breaking it down. Never did it before. Hopefully not too bad. Let me close out a couple things here. And we back. Okay. All right. So thanks for tuning in. I was kind of just my thoughts. I was just looking. If you guys saw me looking away during that video, I was just looking at the UFC card on Google. Just the results and the strikes and all that stuff, and just kind of thinking about it back in my head of what I saw and in my fresh remarks from it. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're gonna have a lot of content coming out here. We got some content at Icon FC, which was very cool. We were pretty much cage side for that fight, but not a lot of big names on that card. So of course it's an amateur, fighting stuff. So maybe in a couple years or a couple months, we'll be talking about some of those guys. But thanks for watching. Peace, boys.